and hello my scrappy friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel today. So as you saw in the beginning there, I am participating in the Danni V's 4K Hooray YouTube hop. We are celebrating Danni's 4,000 subscriber milestone, and we were given a couple of options. The first one was the board of 9 different things I think was on it. Of what we could choose to work with, or Danni has said that we could scrap lift a page of hers, and I ended up choosing to scrap lift a page of hers. I went with the page that I showed you at the beginning with all the hexagons, and I am creating my own hexagon layout here. I am scrapbooking 3 photos from my son's 10th birthday last year, and I'm using predominantly another Tracy Reed digital printable collection. She's also paired with someone else. I can't remember who. You saw that I had printed that background, but when I put my 3 photos on, it took up way too much space. So I decided to not use that, and I've gone with some smooth white cardstock, my favorite one, that I have already trimmed down. I think it's 2 centimeters shorter than the 12 by 12. And I've printed some of the pattern papers from the digital collection, and I'm just going to go through, cut my hexagons. Now, I did use my Cameo to cut my little templates here. I don't have a die, I don't have a punch, so I just ran with what I did have, which is my Cameo. You can see I'm just cutting all these with my scissors using the templates to get the size right. I have also done an internal offset, I guess it's called an inset, to get the inside measurements just right so I can layer these up. You can see now this bit has been sped up more than the rest of the video. I struggled for ages trying to get the placement of how I wanted them. You can see me moving these photos and papers and stuff around. I'm going to bring in the templates in a second that I've got there and see how I can get those to work. You can see I just keep shifting things. I really wanted to put the photo of just the cake by itself on the right hand side. I just felt like that was how it fit best. So here I am with my little templates. I'm just going to shift those around a bit. And this was where things finally started to come together for me. And you can see I'm just playing with all of the bits and pieces. Still moving things around. I really like the idea of that center line kind of anchoring one side of each of my photos, and I kind of run with that and I kind of don't. So yeah, I'm just doing what I can here. I realized that that border was way bigger than it was on the other ones, and then I've tried to use the wrong thing to cut the border down. I'm like, nope, that's not right. There's a piece missing. So I decided to go back in and label them all and work out what is what so that I can make sure I've got the right size here. I ended up you can see, I just used my scissors and cut that one down. And I'm going to create a new template using that. Yep, I'm good with that. Okay, so I've got my photos. Now I'm going to start cutting some pattern papers. This has been cut onto, actually you'll see in a little while, onto some thick, it's not quite cardstock thickness, but it's not printer paper thickness either. I actually used these for my invites for my birthday party last year, and I wasn't happy with the print. So rather than bin all the expensive heavyweight paper, I kept it. Okay, so this is the layout that I'm going to go with. You can see that I've cut all my hexagons. Yeah, hexagons, I think. I think it's hexagons. And I've got a layout that I'm happy with. I've got my layers. Going in with a lead pencil and tracing around them because I knew I wanted to add some mixed media to my background. And like I said, I really wanted to get that center line of some of these photos lined up, so that's why I was using my T-square ruler there. I just wanted to make sure I included that for you. This is a super old pattern paper from my stash. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use this one or the black and white stripe, but you could see straight away that this one worked better. I'm super excited to be getting that used up. Like I said, it's been in my stash for a long time, and I'm not even going to gut it. So like I said, I knew I wanted to do some mixed media in the background. I've pulled out 2 stencils here. I wanted to do some stenciling, obviously, but first I'm going to do some ink blending. I'm going to try using one of my little foam daubers here. Because this stencil is so detailed, it was really hard for me to get the ink through. So you can see me really smushing down on that. It wasn't working. So I've grabbed one of my blender brushes and I'm like, yep, I'm much happier with that. I'm using my pencil lines to just get the ink where I want it to be seen. I'm fading some bits out. And I'm just going to work my way on that diagonal down the page. And I actually really love the way this background came together in the end. So if you are not yet a follower of Danni, I do recommend that you head over and subscribe to her channel. She has got lots of amazing content. She's on the Coconville Studio design team as well. So you'll find lots of inspiration over there. Now, this page is not really the kind of thing that Danni herself would do per se. It's also, I guess, not really the kind of thing that I would do. I don't normally use browns. It's much darker than what I would normally work with, generally speaking, but I really love the way this came out. It worked really well with the photos I was scrapbooking and the feel that I wanted for the page. But I do know that Danni does like to add some mixed media to the background. Like I said, her style is somewhat different to mine, but I thought I would go with some. Danni does definitely more subtle mixed media than I do most of the time, and I kind of feel like some of this work that I'm doing is more subtle than what I would ordinarily do. But I think because I've used that dark brown, it does really make it quite obvious. One of the things in Danni's favourite things is pattern paper, and obviously I've gone with a white background here, but I have used the pattern papers in my hexagons. I really wanted to include all those different patterns. I love how she'd done that on the original layout that I scrap lifted as well. So I've done all my stenciling. The gold that I used there was Colour Paste by B Arty. Then I've added splatters with my fan paintbrush and that brown ink, which was a Distress Oxide in Ground Espresso. And I wanted to add some red as well. Now, if you're a Harry Potter fan, Gryffindor's colours are gold and like a maroony deep red. So I found I pulled out my ink pad swatch book and I matched the colour that was in the collection that I printed to the Cherry Cobbler from Stampin' Up, and I just used the re-inker, one little drop of that, and I got my little red spots. It did look like blood on the glass mat, but I promise you it was not. And then, of course, lots of gold splatters using my Heidi Swap Gold Colour Shine, which I'm just going to use the nozzle of my bottle here. I'm going to pop my background aside to dry, and I'm going to do some work on my hexagons. So I'm going to distress all the edges. You can see that's what I'm doing here. And then I am also going to add ink to all of these edges after I've distressed them. I've added stitching just like Danni had. I've added it only to my 3 photos. You can see there the back of those papers. I've also distressed the edges of my white cardstock, which again I'm going to go in and add this Ground Espresso Distress Oxide to as well, using my foam applicator tool this time, just because I feel like that's what I used for all of the inking on the edges. To my photos as well, I did add a very small white border. I just felt like they needed something to lift them a bit more off the page, and I am going to add dimension behind my photos as well. Sticking my background together. It wasn't 100% dry, but you know, it's me. All right. Like I said, it wasn't 100% dry, so I'm just kind of being careful not to smush everything, and I'm going to start sticking things down. Firstly, I've got to trim off the edges here, so I've just used a pencil, lined it up against the edge. You'll see here I'm going to stress the edge, and then I'm going to use my foam tool there and ink the edge. I'm going to use my wet glue to stick these down with that mixed media in the background, and I'm going to go ahead and start sticking all my bits together. Like I said, I am going to add some foam behind the photos, and I'm just using my roll of Big Mama foam tape from Spiegelmum Scraps. I just left this one in for you so you can see what I'm doing. Don't make you watch me peel all that off. And I'm going to stick these down. Again, I'm using my my wet glue. So all of that is stuck down. I do have a few issues with my phone at the moment. I don't know what it's doing. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Some of my process did get lost right at the end. So you can see I've got my title here. What you're going to miss is me doing some embellishing. That G for the Gryffindor is from the printable collection. And I'm going to show you a close-up here. So I've grabbed all kinds of different stuff from my stash. I've added in some bees. I've added in that little flag with the lion, because Gryffindor is a lion. I've added in some gold puffies from Ellie's studio, some chipboard from Ellie's studio. I think I said some stickers from Vicky Booten, some stickers from My Mind's Eye. Just really went through my stash looking for that really dark red colour. And that is my page finished. I will leave a link. I will leave links to everyone in the description box below. Make sure you head over and say hi to Danny, and make sure you subscribe. As always, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you in my next video.